would say actually, this is something I'm going to write about in Manchester Penetrated as well, how the fact that condoms actually put me at risk for a number of years, because it would be that sort of thing that the guy would be like, I'd say like, I'll put a condom on, and you're like, oh, I can just put the tip in, and then before you know it, like, they're back again. So a reliance on condoms as sole sexual health provision put me at risk.
Okay, well that's very, kind of goes against the general idea that condoms are like the most effective.
Yeah. Well, they're only effective if you use them properly. Like if you don't, if it's haphazard, then they're not going to be effective at all. Similarly with PrEP, if you're not using it properly, if you're not dosing correctly, it's not going to be 100% effective. It's going to be 0% effective.
And in general, how would you describe the experience of taking PrEP?
PrEP has been really liberating for me. It has been like total kind of internal revolution. I've really found like my identity through PrEP, exactly who I am as a sexual sentient being.
What do you mean by that?
I mean that I realise the type of sex that I enjoy having is like kind of quite, I suppose, transgressive in a way. It's quite fluid, it's quite expansive and extensive. So I have like a lot of sexual partners, like very, very high numbers. But that's the sex I enjoy. I like exploring new men all the time and wandering around and being kind of really brazen and slutty, and like it actually reflects a lot the character that I've always been in a way, but then sexually kind of was holding back because of anxieties and fears. PrEP has removed those anxieties and fears, and then people go on about, what about with STIs? I say, yeah, what about them? Like, just get some treatment. And you don't like.
And in terms of that sex, how would you describe that sex that you enjoy, that you were talking about, as transgressive?
Well, people would generally think having sex with 10 men in one night as being transgressive, because it kind of flouts the whole kind of, monogamous based, sex that's kind of like held in such pious value in society. Because I engage quite frequently in chemsex, by the very nature of how it's been represented, can be thought of as transgressive. It depends on how you look at chemsex as well. I tend to see chemsex as a subcultural practice that has like inherent political value as well.
What's a political value?
Well, I mean, I think it has like, we're not quite there with it yet, but I think it has built into it sort of like some egalitarian possibilities and liberating potentialities. And certainly chemsex, along with PrEP, has liberated me in the sense of how I look and think about society and think about my body in relation to society. The egalitarianism I've seen in chill outs, like such a broad range. Not all chill, some chill outs are very monocultural, gym bunny, fucking heavy, but they're not the kind of chill outs that I go to or enjoy, or who would come to my house, So it would be broad ethnicities, different zero status, backgrounds as kind of like manual labour, or artists, porn stars, escorts. Quite a wide age range as well, and different body types. So within that, and then having people in space. I mean, Jamie Hackins talked some about collective intimacies, and pointed to the fact that, like, in the research he did, which I would actually kind of really think is important research, because it really kind of is it's a counter argument and qualified counter argument to the whole kind of, it's all very kind of trivial. And you have situations during chemsex chill outs where there's no sex happening, it's just guys sitting around talking really openly about their experience, their passions, their love, like when they were abused when they were kids, first time fell in love, what they feel about chemsex, what PrEP, HIV. So there's many different types of chemsex. There is the type of chemsex that is just all about kind of like fucking in the body and everybody gores, and like, very kind of like selecting and kind of, elitist. There's kind of like really predatory chemsex as well. But there's many different types of chemsex, and we tend to just look at one kind of one lens, which is the sort of chemsex, pathologizing chemsex. a lot of like PrEP activists would argue there's no stringent link between PrEP and chemsex. Obviously there is, as there is undetectability, as there is, you know, HIV prevalence, as there is the politics of the city. It's a very rich and kind of complex subculture, and it is a subculture because the amount of people engaged in it are, you know, certain people like James Wharton and Dave Stewart would have it portrayed as this widespread gay and bi phenomenon. I think like James Wharton said chemsex is gay culture. That's completely just wrong. What I've been kind of like, so in my job, one of the questions we would ask as part of the wellbeing assessment is like, what do you know about chemsex? And what I've been surprised by is not the amount of gay and bi men who engage in chemsex, it's the amount of gay and bi men who have no fucking clue what it is. Is that something to do with poppers is the regular question. Most regular question. So I would say like probably you have about like 12-13% of gay and bi men engaging in chemsex on whatever level of frequency. And certainly some of them do have like distinct problems, like it's a hedonistic subculture. There would be some casualties. You know.
And what do you like about that transgressive sex?
It's because it reflects my personality, as I suppose, and my kind of political viewpoint of the world as non-conformist, sort of not part of. You know, it's like it's a challenge to kind of mainstream perceptions, and I tend to embody a lot of kind of the things that I believe. Rather than just espousing a belief, I kind of live what I believe. I don't believe monogamy and relationships are the only model that for existence, and they don't suit everybody. I do believe that you know, sexual encounters with men, you're learning stuff about yourself all the time through other people's bodies as well. Just enjoy the kind of like, it's actually fucking really good fun, you know, and that sort of kind of like wild, brazen, kind of like hedonistic. It's part of gay history, you know.
And how would you relate to kind of the public health discourse that you should not be doing that, you should be using condoms, not using drugs?
I would completely reject that. And you know, a lot of the work that I'm doing independently of my day job is like putting myself very front and fore with my writing and artwork and performance, and saying like, I do chemsex, I don't need your fucking help, thank you very much. Okay, I have experienced psychosis, I was nearly raped, I chill out, I have got every STI under the sun apart from HIV. I certainly am an addict, but that's not something I feel like I should apologise for. I think our society's viewpoints of addiction is very archaic and counterproductive.
Okay, so you would define yourself as an addict?
Yeah, I mean, I would say definite dependencies. I mean, I take along with being gay and queer and whatnot, addict as an identity. It's a kind of way of life. I don't think it's a way of life that is necessarily problematic, because what you need to ask is it massively debilitating to your daily life? And there have been occasions when my addictions have been debilitating to my daily life and caused me problems, but most of the time I function at a really high level. I have a PhD, I work in very committed to sexual health and community safety jobs that I do like external art projects, and I write all the time. You know, it's I don't lose contact with my friends. If I'm the one kind of like keeping contact with them, I'm in contact with my family. You know, it's it causes problems in relationships with guys, but like guys are assholes anyway. So I'd like to do. I mean, people say, you know, when I was doing like harm reduction, the Reach Clinic, which is the like mainstream NHS chemsex service. It was all like, you know, it's like drugs damage you. It's like, no, people fucking damage me. Drugs are fine. Like I can't, like crystal meth, for example, utterly like is a mirror to my personality, and it's like really suits me as a drug. So yeah, I mean, I don't think any, like, I mean, addicts are pushed into kind of impossible position where they're forced into recovery, and then they're forced into recovery and they go through all this like process of, you know, withdrawal and, you know, introspection and self-doubt and reintegration in society and relapse and repeat, and then, you know, at the end of the day our society offers them fucking precisely nothing. Everything revolves around alcohol and by extension drugs and a sexualized body, and I think it's wrong.
And would you think that your role as a sexual health advisor kind of is at odds